here, another YouTube video. Here we are, internationally renowned, worldwide. Think it is what's accurate, the muscle and the Great Muscle Network. Coming to you on this video. Alright, let's take a look over here at Zermex. Alright, what I got to do first is get this deposit back in, because timing is always of the essence. And I got to make sure I get the deposit back in again and going, because, you know, the longer I wait, you know, the longer it just takes for it to do its 24-hour earnings. Alright, so with that, this is where it's at here, Zermex Asset. And so the power of trading and research combined, yeah. So you know, I've been in this thing now for a little bit. As you can see how it works, either I'll be doing drive-bys daily or maybe a video every other day or two, something like that. If it's not inconvenient in my schedule to slot one in a video, then I'll do a video. And if I only have time to do a drive-by, then I'll do a drive-by. And that's how I'm going to treat Zermex, because it's a 24-hour deal here. And 24 hours, well, I don't like to mess with those too much, just because I got to, you know, check 24 hours and all that. I might miss a day or so, and then next thing you know, it's like, you know, I miss a day, you know. So with that, all I gotta say is forget the other four plans. It's just the 5%. That's it. 10% is too risky. 5,000. You gonna put 5,000 in? I'm not. 14.5 after 24 hours. You gonna put 50,000 in? No. 301,000 in? No. This one can be tempting for some people because you're going to double in 24 hours, but typically it's too risky. I wouldn't even do this either. Even if I was confident with putting in $2,000, I wouldn't put it here. I'll still just put it in the 5%. But the thing about it, because it's really hard to double in 24 hours, right? Just the thought of it itself is the reason why I wouldn't even do that one. And on top of that, it's just the far right plan never works. All right. Typically it doesn't ever work. I wouldn't say never, but typically it doesn't work. So I would just avoid any of these four. And this, if you are thinking about it, it would be this plan here. All right. And so with all that, 5% after 24 hours. That's a pretty good return, though, by the way. 5%, and you're not tied long term on this thing, because you can just get out whenever you want to, because it's only 24 hours. So the longest term is this one here at 4 days, but even 4 days is not too long. It's just so risky with the money you put into it. Like I said, I wouldn't even do that shit. So with that, that's where we're at with it. You know, if you wanted to pick a plan, 5%. All right. There are several, you know, YouTubers on this thing as well, so that kind of helps when it comes to activity, when it comes to just kind of seeing if it's something of relevance, right? Sometimes you got to rely on what you know, if there's more of it out there, and if you see others talking about it, whether it's in YouTube or in Telegram, it's like, okay, that's something that I could really just jump in on and be a part of something. And then sometimes it might be so early on certain platforms that you might not see others in it yet, because typically I like to be first on a lot of programs when possible. And you know, there are times when it's like that, you know, where I'm first in, and bam, I'm in, right? And so, if not, then, you know, I just try to see what other, you know, if there's activity happening within it, if there's an associating Telegram group with it, or other content about it. You know, that's just part of that whole thing that I always say, hey, do your research and stuff, right? And so that's the things you look for. You know, you look for others, you look for content, you look for groups, and it doesn't have to be a direct. It's nice to have a direct Telegram group associated with the program, but sometimes they don't do that, right? But if there's other groups talking about it, that's still okay, you know, because it's a topic of relevance, it's a topic of usage, and so I think it's all right, you know. But so far, Zermex has been pretty good, all right. So with that, to make a deposit, again, 5%, $100 to 5,000. 5%. This is only a 24-hour plan. These other ones, forget about them, right? We talked about it already. Forget about them. I'm not even going to go through these other ones because it's just too much. Way too high, unrealistic, right? So with that, you put in the amount based on if you want to use Bitcoin, ETH, USDT, BNB, Doge, Shiba Inu. Man, not very many platforms actually do Shiba. The amount you want to put in, and then in, right? But remember, it's $100 minimum. So part of the reason why I like this program is because the minimum is not too low. It kind of tells you the seriousness of the program because they're not taking $10 minimums or $25 minimums. You know, they're looking beyond that, right? They're looking at, it takes bigger money to create something of, you know, quote unquote profit or earnings and all that, right? But not these $10, $25 stuff. $100 is something, you know, it's definitely way more than you would see with those tiny little deposits that people do. And to me, it's a waste of money when you do those $10 deposits and stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, so that's how you get in. And so with that, withdraw, boom, 25. Let's put in 25 here. And then let's request it. And typically, as long as it there's no verbiage in here about how long it pays. So I like giving it a 24-hour window at minimum if nothing's stated, or even if they say we'll pay within 12 hours, right? I still will give them a 24-hour window because I think a day is long enough to let them prove that they're paying, right? If it's, unless stated, right? If it says, oh, you know, we pay within 48 hours, all right, I'll roll with that. Or if it says 72 hours, I'll roll with that, right? But when it comes to the non-verbiage of it, or when it's usually understated, like pays in 12 hours, you know, it pays in 4 hours or whatever, I'll give them a 24-hour leeway, right? Well, that's about the most I would give, all right, unless they, you know, start all of a sudden saying, oh, we've updated. And that's another thing too. If they change the way they do withdrawals without really communicating it, then something's wrong. So here's an example, right? Laser 2 online, you know, went offline yesterday. When you look at what they did, all right, it was instant. All right, usually instant programs, if they make a change, two things would happen, right? One is if they make a change unannounced and it goes to saving, then there's a problem. It's over, right? If they announce the change, say, hey, we're no longer going to be doing instant withdrawals. We're going to be doing manual withdrawals for your security, right? So those are two common changes that happen, right? Okay, we could roll with that. You know, that's something that we could roll with because it's I guess you could technically say, in the sea of crypto and platforms and all that stuff, when it comes to quote unquote legitimacy, it's a legitimate excuse. All right, that's about the only area of crypto you could say is legit, is the changes that they make and the excuse they may give for doing that. And I believe that when they say we can't do instant withdrawals, we're no longer going to do that, we're going to do manual for your safety, I can see that. That's very understandable. But when they do it unannounced, then they're not going to be paying. It's over. All right, so something to keep in mind. That's kind of a little tip in high yield platform game, or just platform games in general. Just the arena that we are in. This is our playground. So when you're in this playground for a long time, you figure things out, right? You start to kind of just see how things happen and how things work, and you're like, okay, now I know this, now I know that. Always keep an open mind, right? You're learning things all the time, so always keep an open mind, and you'll be just fine. So something again to think about when it comes to these things. So with Zermex, now going back to all that, to Zermex, they don't state how long withdrawals take, so we just do a 24-hour window and go from there. And so far it's been alright. It hasn't been too bad, but I've only done, let's see, 3 withdrawals so far. So when you look at that, I think I've only been at most 5 days. I think I missed a day or two already, not hitting it up on the 24-hour mark. I might have missed a day or two already as we speak. So it's something that I gotta keep up on and incorporate myself into doing on my daily routines in order to stay on top of Zermex Asset and its earnings of such. So that's something that you will be doing too, right? As long as you are staying on top of it every 24 hours, then it's cool. Alright, that's how you gotta play this. That's what I'm trying to do too, because what it's doing for me is it's reminding me I got to redeposit, and at the same time I can withdraw. And then when the 24 hours is up, it's a reminder. All right, I got to redeposit again, conduct my withdrawal, and I just keep doing it, keep doing it. So that's what this 24-hour thing can do for you too. All right, it just kind of reminds you, okay, I got to get back in, and it's a way to check your account, do your withdrawal, do your deposit again, and do it all over again and again and again and again and again. Alright, so that way you can also check your account, make sure things are happening correctly and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's pros and cons of 24 hours. I usually am not a fan, but, it's just, there's not much going on for me right now in that sense that I could check in every day on it. I mean, maybe there might be days I might be super busy still, and I'll be like, all right, I can't do it. I'll just do a drive-by or something. Let's see here. It says 66,000 Bitcoin. Let me see if that's really the case real quick here. All right, so that's 67.8. So it looks like it tailed off from, I think it hit like 68 or 69 yesterday, and it looks like it tailed off a bit. Let me quickly look at that. Yeah, a little bit of redness. Yeah, we reached 69 yesterday. I knew it. So it tailed off a little bit, but it's alright. Yeah, so check out Zermex. Alright. Is this an accurate 66? I think that's just a printed text set of chart numbers here. I don't think that's going to change, but it's all good. You have 2 levels here, 5 and a 3 on sharing the opportunity. So comment down below, links down below, subscribe to everything I got. Thank you, and I'll see you next one.